All right, welcome to another episode. I'm Orlando.
I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
This is the smart take.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. So, just finished the Vikings game, and man, oh man, did we beat them down. I could not have even predicted in my wildest dreams, which, psych, not true. I've been predicting for years what would happen to the Minnesota Vikings if Dak Prescott got to play.
That is
2
true.
years ago, Andy Dalton, dub. Last year, Cooper Rush, dub. It was only a matter of time before Dak got to actually play these guys and showed exactly what he could do. Like that is a prime example of what this team would look like with Cooper Rush versus what this team looks like with Dak.
I agree.
Since since the team has gotten Dak back, we've been number one in points scored. Our our offense production overall has just went through the roof. And I mean that's exactly what we've been saying. So how do you feel about it?
Man, I would definitely say I was a bit nervous during the game, like when it first started. When Micah got that strip sack, I was like, okay. Like, 'cause I hate getting ball first. Me personally, I know you feel the same way. I hate getting ball first. So when I found out we got ball after half, I was like, okay, like I really like that. And so yeah, because I think our defense sets the tone for us, builds momentum, and then that's when our offense starts to flourish. So yeah, I really think it was a good game. Offense, defense, special teams. Shout out my boy Brett Maher. Hey, that's
Oh
hey,
man.
good with me, my brother. You good with me forever, man. I wasn't sure about him when we first signed him, but I'll definitely say he's exceeded expectations, and he has a fan in me for sure. So I just really
Man,
they did like I said, exceeded expectations, beat them 40-3. And I'm glad because that was a real statement game that the Cowboys are coming and we are not messing around.
yeah, man. And while we're here, yes, let's talk about that Brett Maher kick because that's insane that he even had to kick it twice.
And
I've
what was that?
never seen anything like that. Now, I agree it was a questionable catch, but once the play moves on, I thought that was it. That was supposed to be
And we
good
called a
field goal.
timeout. So
Yeah,
that
we
means they had more time to review it and then they still let him kick it. But when you're money from 60, it really don't matter. You feel me?
he kicked it even better than the
Kick
first
it
one.
even
So
better.
I mean, stuck it straight to the refs because I mean that was almost blatant cheating in my opinion. I feel like there's no other explanation for that because in the past, once a play goes on, if even on plays where it needed to be reviewed on replays, you can clearly see what actually happened. Once that play gets moved on and they go to the next play, that was it. But
Like,
for us, hey, but Brett said that didn't matter to him. So
well, we had our predictions for the Viking game. So tell me what predictions you have for the Viking game and tell me which ones you got correct.
all right. So one of my main predictions was I thought that Dan Quinn would get our defense back in line and we'd be able to control the Vikings run game. And I said that we would hold Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison to under 100 yards together, which we definitely did. That Alexander Madison didn't have any yards. They didn't use him as much as I thought they would did, but we were able to hold Dalvin Cook to under 100, which in turn led both of them to under 100. I predicted that CeeDee Lamb would outperform Justin Jefferson because of Trayvon Diggs, which was 100% right. CeeDee Lamb, while in his defense, he didn't have like a crazy breakout game, but that just wasn't needed of him. We were running the ball effectively, throwing him the ball when we needed to, throwing it to TP, doing whatever we needed to do to be effective and win that game, which you can't say for Justin Jefferson because he had less yards, less catches, but his team needed him to win that game, and he was kind of strapped up. So that prediction went right. I said that we would win as long as we didn't let the Vikings keep it close, which man, like I blew them out. So it was nowhere near close. I predicted that Dak would throw for 243 yards with touchdowns to CD and to Hendershot, which he ended up exceeding my expectations through for 275, and both his touchdowns went to Tony Pollard. And then my last prediction was that Zeke and Tony Pollard would rush for 136 yards and have three total touchdowns, with one being receiving, and both blew that out of the water. They ran for 122 yards, caught for 114 yards, and had a total of four touchdowns, two on the ground from Zeke, two in the air from TP. And man, it was just too much for them to handle. What about your predictions?
I had Dak going for 202 touchdowns. And like I said, when he throws for 30 max, I think we had a really good chance of winning. He threw 22 for 25. So check mark with the 30 max. I thought he would throw for 200, exceeded, like you said, threw for 275. And I thought he would throw for 2 touchdowns. He threw for 2 touchdowns. I had Zeke and TP combining for 225 altogether. That means receiving or rushing, which they did do that. I thought they would only have like 1 touchdown together, but they ran and received for 236 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, hey, shout out y'all boys. I had CD going for 80-ish yards and a touchdown. You know, he only had 45, but like you said, he really wasn't needed in the offense. He had the very big catch right before halftime to let the two Brett Maher 60-yard field goals. So, I mean, you know, I think he's really gonna have a big game against the Giants. I had a tight end touchdown from us, but we did not have a tight end touchdown, which it's okay. We should have had one. Dalton could have had him one. I mean, he tried to catch it one hand. It is what it is. I thought Jay Jettis would have a touchdown. He did not have a touchdown. Shout out my boy Diggs. You feel me? Right across the chest. I thought Diggs would have a pick and a PBU. He did not have the pick, but he did have the PBU. So he was very close. He almost had the one hand. That would have been the pick of the year. I thought Dalvin would have a touchdown. He had 0 touchdowns. The run game was shut down completely. They was not playing that. Because, by the way, let me put this out there. TP had more yards all combined than their whole team. That just doesn't happen. So, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I thought Kirk would have 215 because I just thought that he and a touchdown because he came off a big game against the Bills. He, you know, had some momentum. He was 8-1. I was just thinking, you know, maybe he was get some things going. He had 105, 0 touchdowns. Again, great defense. I thought we would win by a walk-off touchdown or a field goal and win 31-28. Obviously, that was we won 40-3. So, you know, great week from the boys. I'm really proud of them. I thought this team could be. They exceeded that expectation. But you know, we have the Giants coming up. But before we get into the Giants, who would you say your MVP of the game was?
So just like my last MVP, instead of picking like a single player, I got to go with the whole group. And this is an even more of a group because I'm picking both lines. Our defensive line and our offensive line were amazing. Our defensive line had Kirk Cousins. Man, he was running for his life out there, while our offensive line had Dak in heaven. He was back there chilling. The only time he even got close to getting sacked was he rolled right into one and then turned that into a positive play. So the way our line, both sides of our lines play, they were the MVPs of that game to me. What about you?
Me personally, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott because people were trying to compare him to Kirk Cousins. He just came off you can't throw 2 picks especially because our defense got us a turnover against the Packers. And so he definitely had a big bounce back game through 22 for 25, 88%. Not not many QBs can do that. And it's not like he was just throwing easy throws here and there, dink and dack like they used to call him. He really was throwing some good throws like the one to CD, the touch pass to TP. And realistically, he should have thrown 23 for 25 and 3 touchdowns. He put it right on Dawson. So that's neither, but like I said, it's neither here nor there. I really think that he had a very excellent game. He controlled the offense. He never put the defense in tough positions. When it was 3rd and 14, he still found a way to get that touchdown, dropping it right in the breadbasket. TP did the rest, but I really think Dak Prescott played an amazing game, clean on all cylinders. He didn't even look like he was going to throw a pick or he was rattled in any way. So if he plays like that, we have a really good chance.
Yeah, man, that 3rd and 14, he could have handed it off to him, and it would have been just as easy.
I agree. But Giants this week, Thanksgiving game. What are your predictions?
All right, so for the Giants, I'm thinking that Dak will have 250 in the air, 3 touchdowns, and I do have him throwing a pick this game. And then I have Zeke running for 65 yards and a touchdown, with Tony Pollard going for 100 plus and a touchdown. And then I think CD will have 8 catches and around 100 yards. I'm gonna predict that Michael will have another 2-sack game, and then Diggs will finally get that pick because we've been on a Diggs drought. I mean, he's been great in coverage. He stepped up in the run defense, but now bringing that pick back, he was so close last week. Like you said, that one hander would have been the pick of the year. So I think this will be the week he finally he shapes back up and gets that pick from Daniel Jones.
I definitely agree. I think he'll get a. I don't predict him having a pick, but I think he has stepped up in the run defense as well. I think he'll have 2 PBUs though, and be very close to a pick, but it'll be like, ooh, like you know how they get. I think that's what'll happen. Yeah, I agree with you. I have Micah getting 2 sacks again. See, he's either if he gets a sack, if he gets at least 1 sack, he get 2 sacks.
Another one's coming.
2 or 0. It's nothing between with this guy this year. I think the defense will force a fumble. I can't really pinpoint who, but I really feel like we're gonna get a fumble, maybe a
Defense full
strip
of
sack
dogs.
or something. I have Dak for going for 250 plus as well, and at least 2 touchdowns. I could see 3, but depending on how our run game playing, I think at least 2. I think TP and Zeke will combine for 150 plus receiving and rushing all combined, and at least 2 touchdowns. I think CD will have 70 plus in a touchdown, and I think we'll get back to us having a tight end touchdown. But if you had to predict one score for the game, even though in the last 3 Thanksgiving games we've lost, so they could say we're a bit cursed on Thanksgiving. But what do you feel like the ending outcome would be?
Final score, my prediction is 34-14 Cowboys. And like you said, like we were in person for the Bills Thanksgiving loss. I don't know what it is about Thanksgiving. That loss was bad. Last year's Raiders loss was hard. I mean, we in the Bill that loss to the Bills was before the Bills were the Bills they are now. So we have definitely been playing down to teams that we've been better than, or that I feel like we're better than on Thanksgiving. So this would be a big week for them to kind of shut some of that stuff up, and especially on the momentum we have from our last game and just how our season is going. I think they should be able to handle business this week and win 34-14. What about you?
I predicted 38-17. So we're pretty close in prediction. We will definitely hit on this in our post-game recap. Like you said, we have a lot of momentum coming off that win because that's not like we scraped by, and they were an 8-1 team. So that really gives you real confidence that we should be here. We're supposed to be here. We're going to show y'all why. And so I really think, and this is a division rival, so it's always a big game against them. But Dak is 25-6 against the NFC East, so I don't think he's going to stop now. And I think I really feel good about this weekend.
I agree. And even as a whole, I just feel a lot more confident in this around this time of the season than I did last year. I can compare the Packers game and then the Broncos game just in the sense of games that we definitely should not have lost. And then but the way we were able to bounce back from this year's game versus last year's game, I feel like from the Broncos game, we completely kind of fell off and never were really able to find our groove back. And so to bounce back this way after losing to us, a team that you're better than, team that isn't playing well that season, to bounce back like that against the 8-1 team, I think that really, really, like you said earlier, made a statement for us. And so I think we'll be able to build off that momentum and win this game.
I agree. But all right, guys, that's a wrap on this episode. Thank you. I want to say keep liking, keep subscribing, keep commenting. Really appreciate all the love y'all been giving us. And take us out, Orlando.
All right, so I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
And this is Smart Take.